No. Ah, yes. Welcome to Couch Pilots, all of my friends. It's the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television. Pilot. My name is Jason. You can call me the Black Breadwinner, and with me, as always, is the man who brings home the bacon. It's Captain Philip Restisher. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. I love bacon. I've got just a little bit more bacon left in my freezer. My wife's been cooking it up because of her Atkins diet. Suppose we can just eat meat, and that's all you can eat, and that's great.
I feel like there's 100 diets right now, and they're all based around just eat meat.
Yeah.
And meat and vegetables, no dairy, no
Carbs,
bread.
yeah.
But yeah, Atkins is the original, right?
I guess so. I don't know.
Didn't he die by like slipping on some ice?
Did he slip?
And then he nay-nayed?
Yep. Damn right. It's great to see you.
I love it when I get to see you.
Yeah. And which is, that's the best thing about this plane. Is we can look right at each other as we fly the plane.
Yeah, it's great.
I've always thought that was an amazing...
It's an innovation.
The swivel chairs that we put in.
Yeah.
So like when we're taking off and stuff, we do look face forward. But when we're talking to each other, we just swivel the chair.
We can do this. We can swivel.
So, yeah, and that's that's the way Donald Trump wanted this plane, and that's what it's like.
Air Force One, A-OK. Let me ask you this: what's the difference? We were talking about bacon at the top of the show, just a few seconds ago. What's the difference between bacon and fatback? Is there a difference between that?
Fatback is like this logo company where you can big stickers for your house, sports people,
like the NFL players on the walls.
Yeah, that's what Fatback is.
Oh, so one is a meat food stuff,
right?
And the other is,
and I think
logo.
The other one is like the hats that don't have brims, just straight across hats.
Yes,
those are called Fatbacks too.
Okay,
I've dated a couple girls that had some fatbacks. You know what?
They look good everywhere else. Just had tremendously obese backsides.
Yeah. Their butts were fine. It was just their back meat.
How did it accumulate back there? It's not for us to say.
No, and though it's one of those things like in the wintertime, great. I want every girl to have a good fat back. Because it keeps you warm. But in the summertime, you're like, come on.
You don't want that fat back.
No, because then there's all those juices oozing out of it.
Like the Foreman grill, their back becomes some sort of like living, breathing Foreman grill.
Right, and you're just afraid it's going to eat you. You know what I mean? Like you wake up and you have acne because you laid your head on her fucking back,
and you're afraid that their back was going to eat you.
Right?
Yeah, it's terrifying.
That's terrifying. But what's not terrifying is Thanksgiving is only a few days away.
Yeah, today is the 19th of November.
Yeah,
right. I love the 19th. Right, it's a.
Can you believe it's November already?
Oh,
it seems like all year long goes super fast, and then we have CouchCon, and then it's like blink of an eye. Because
as soon as CouchCon is over, the rest of the year just goes like in a blink of an eye.
Right, so we've got to get everything ready for ticket sales because they're going to go on sale Christmas Day through New Year's Day.
And still, we don't have a lot of details, and we're not going to dwell on it. But CouchCon 2019 is set for October of next year. We don't have a date yet.
October 15th.
Oh, it is 15th.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have a date. Oh, pardon me. But we're not going to dwell on it. The tickets will be on sale soon. You'll see it on the website. We're very excited.
And I think I've been in talks with Amazon, and I think you can
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos, and
our guest today looks like Jeff Bezos. You know that?
I guess. I mean, I don't know the guy that well. I don't want to say.
You can look at him.
Well, let me hold on.
All right. The swivel. Look at that swivel action.
Yeah.
Badass.
Looks just like Jeff Bezos. Not exactly like him.
Hey man, they both have short hair, and then he's wearing like a shirt that's kind of tight on him. They'll show off his
guns,
physique.
his gun show. Yeah. This man is near and dear to our heart. He's never been on the show before.
Our guest today, season 16.
Be our guest. Take your friends to the test. Have them come and watch a horrible pilot, and then come on the microphone. And if they last all night long, then they will be your friends forever.
Can I talk yet? What's going on?
Nope. Shut up.
Nope.
We have to introduce you.
That was from Beauty and the Beast. Would you have sex with that teapot?
I will have sex with anything. It doesn't matter.
You know what? I want to fuck that candelabra.
Candelabra.
I love a candelabra.
Would you take the candelabra in the butt?
Yeah.
Any day, right?
Yeah.
You only have one hole whereas a girl has 2, and so a candelabra to me
All
would be
right.
would be more effective for her. But anyway, this gentleman is near and dear to our hearts. He basically taught us to be the men that we are today.
Taught us everything we know about flight and lift, right? Lift and separate.
Yep, Phoenix Online.
That's where we got our degree.
The head of the
Headmaster.
the headmaster of the aviation department. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
I mean,
please
no.
welcome to Couch Pilots, our headmaster, the man who signed our diplomas. His name is Mike. Welcome, Mike.
Hello, guys.
Now you can talk.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
It's great to see you. It's been a few years.
Yeah, it's been a
but,
while.
It's been a while. But we are honored to have you
Are
here.
you proud of us?
I
Are you,
no.
Are you proud of us? What?
No.
That's
Maybe a little bit.
that's sobering.
Well, I mean, being proud of us as men is not the question.
No,
but
I
being
get
proud
it.
as aviators.
Sure. As good of aviators as you could become from Phoenix Online.
Right, right.
Sure,
then,
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm really proud of you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Right?
That feels
Yeah.
good.
All right. Good.
So you've never been. We were talking to you before.
Yeah.
You've never been in an airplane.
He's only done simulations.
Yeah, it's let's not talk about that. My qualifications don't really matter.
All right,
at
that's
this point.
fair.
Let's not delve into.
But you've
that.
never heard a podcast either, is that
yeah,
right?
never. It's kind of embarrassing to say, but
What do you do with your time? Grading papers online?
they pretty much
On Phoenix Online?
There's a lot of papers.
All Blake and I know is if there's a moment of silence in our life, we turn on a podcast so we don't have to drown in our own thoughts.
Right.
That's what we know.
That makes sense.
But you don't have that.
No,
going
no,
on, apparently.
I consistently drown in my own thoughts.
And then what does that sound like? Like you're taking a shit?
Yep.
That's what it sounds like when I'm shitting.
Yeah, no, that sound all too well.
That makes sense.
We were like your star pupils, right? I mean, we were like top of the class.
You kept saying that, yeah. Uh-huh.
right.
We
and,
definitely kept
You
saying
definitely
that.
thought that. Yeah.
See,
yeah.
the thing is that I would take it up,
and I would do everything in the middle.
and then I would take it back down.
So when we were going through the course, if it had to do with getting it up,
I would do it.
and then all the stuff in the course, like all the chapters in the middle,
Right.
I would do those.
take that,
yeah,
yeah.
and then all the ones, the chapters and all the tests and stuff for getting it down.
I would do that too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're like one great pilot.
I think there's a lot of mediocre pilots out there, but together you and I are one great
Sure.
pilot.
We used to say you shared one brain. That
Yeah,
was,
yeah. Thank you.
That
Thank
was,
you
that
so
was a
much.
common.
Thank you.
Yeah. No.
And that's because we used to wear T-shirts that said that and had arrows pointing at each
One
other.
brain.
I'm with my other half.
I'm with
of
one brain.
So
That's the T-shirt we'd wear.
when we went to class.
Right. I don't know when we'd be seeing these T-shirts.
Well, because
Phoenix Online.
Well,
but-
there was a lot of times. I think
We'd Skype in.
Yeah, we would Skype in because we would have monthly meetings with you, about our progress and about
Sure.
stuff, and
Yeah.
and we would always be on that screen wearing those shirts, and you were like, "Come on, you guys."
So
I
you're,
remember that.
you're still teaching, is that right, at Phoenix Online?
Yes. Yep.
And how's that going for you?
It's all right.
Do you have tenure?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do when
I'm
you're-
a tenured instructor.
Nice.
What do you do when your internet goes down at home?
Oh yeah, good question.
Ooh, that is a good question. Cancel class.
But how do you cancel the class if your internet's down?
Don't worry about it.
It's not for you to
don't,
worry
don't,
about.
Don't ask those kind of questions.
Is it a good question? Sure. Should you worry about it? Not at all.
Nope.
Not at all. Well, we're excited to have you here.
Instead of yes handing me, he just said, "Don't worry about it."
He didn't go to improv school. He went to flight school.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, it's great to have you here, Mike, and I hope
you.
I hope you enjoy your time. It's more of for entertainment purposes. I don't want you to like critique us as we're flying and stuff. So just don't be here as an instructor.
Right.
Be here as a
Someone to be entertained.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'll pretend like I know nothing about flying.
That would bode well for us.
That'd be
Yeah,
great.
that's it. Yeah. No.
That would be great. That's called grading on a curve.
Yeah. Having never heard a podcast, we've done a podcast for a few years now.
You do
and
that thing?
We're doing it right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And
Yeah,
we
thank you.
have people who listen, oddly enough, and sometimes some of those people feed us back. Do we have any fan feedback?
We have an extensively long fan feedback.
Do we really?
Yeah, and I would love to play it for you. Not play it because. Did you see the picture of Kevin and their little pregnant picture. That's kind of cute, huh?
Kevin
Because
Clark.
Kevin's fat and his wife
Yeah,
is
that-
actually pregnant.
That is kind of horrifying, really.
That Kevin's fat?
No, Kevin was smart.
No, well, maybe.
It was smart because Kevin was like 3 years ago. He's like, I'm going to start putting on sympathy weight
Sure.
right now.
Right, right.
It's thinking ahead.
I love it.
That's good.
So this comes from Dee Dee.
From Australia.
Right. And it's kind of lengthy, but it's her summary of what happened at CouchCon 2018.
This is great. Yeah, we were like a month out from CouchCon, but we're still getting in fan feedback. Yeah, let's hear it.
My memories of CouchCon 18. How can I start? Well, it all began when I tried to book the lowest airfare for both myself and my sweeper. I decided to bring it after I saw the dollar exchange rate and realized that it had to be a working holiday. Bear with me for a moment. Sorry.
I thought you were going to do one of the sound effects on the new mixer.
No, no. Hold on. Can you talk for a second?
Sure. Blake is reading fan feedback, and as we all know, good God Almighty,
He may not make it.
anyone who listens to this show automatically receives frequent flyer points. You become part of our frequent flyer program, and we have two very powerful, very heavy pachinko machines that are keeping track of everything numbers related to Couch Pilots, right?
Yep.
So anyone like Dee Dee right now, she is getting frequent flyer
Yep.
points.
Exactly.
I've never gotten any of those.
Well, you're getting them now for being on today.
Yeah.
Good.
And you can redeem them for goods and services rendered, such as
Used underwear,
signed aviator glasses.
signed posters, or you can take a flight with us.
And you're doing that right now.
There we go.
I decided to bring it after I saw the dollar exchange rate and realized it was going to be a working holiday. I had heard how your president's main tasks was to clean up the streets, so I thought he could use all the help he could get. I agreed to fly Earhart Airlines, a small one-crafted operation flying out of Holland Island, located near New Guinea. I got a cheap rate because I was her first flight since 1937. We finally reached Los Angeles after a trip that seemed to take an eternity, and then I set off on my coast-to-coast road trip of gutter sweeping. Upon entering the Big Apple, I was amazed of how empty and quiet it seemed. When I asked why, the reason told to me was that it was the very day that Apple released the new iPhone. It only happens 6 times a year. So everyone was updating their phones at the Apple Store. Down under, we are still using operator-connected services with our phones, so I was amazed at this technology.
Love that, Dee Dee.
I'm not done yet.
Wow.
The lack of traffic made it easy for me to find the Madison Square Gardens, so I could get a parking space for the sweeper with little trouble. I was extremely tired after my journey, so finding a quiet corner, I laid down and was quickly asleep. Aw.
Like a hobo.
I must have slept for hours because I awoke by the noise of a party. Of course, this was the first night, meet and greet. As I stumbled into the room, blinking because the bright lights coming from the landing lights on Air Force One, my eyes were met with people onto the stage I had only thought of as fiction. Adam Z, Kevin Clark, Molly, Tyler, just to name a few. And then I got a tap on the shoulder. Turning around, I froze in horror as I realized who I was facing. It was none other than Mason Reese. I don't know where he got a ticket from or how he even got into the building, but for the next 3 days I was keeping busy trying to escape his clutches. I ended up having to hide most of the time I was there, or going around in disguise to try to avoid the little peanut butter reeking freak.
We don't mention him a lot lately, Mason Reese,
No.
do we?
So that is the reason I couldn't catch up with a lot of people. It was only at the pudding wrestling I had planned with Lori Garcia.
This is all canon, Mike.
That I could reveal myself. And we all know how that ended up. Anyway, now I'm back down under. That was my CouchCon 2018 experience. Maybe next year you could implement some sort of facial recognition system that maybe could keep out the riffraff. Until then, this is DD signing off.
Wow, what a detailed account of her
great.
experience at CouchCon.
And
Thank you so much.
I
Dee
did not know that Mason Reese.
I didn't see him.
I didn't see him at all.
I thought we had closed the book on Mason Reese.
Forever.
Apparently not.
Can I make a confession?
I would love it.
That was the most confusing fucking thing I've ever heard.
Sure. Yeah, for someone who's never heard a podcast
Right.
or
Even this podcast.
Definitely not this podcast.
that's pretty fair to say.
But everybody else gets it.
Oh, okay, good.
It was hilarious.
It was okay. I'll take your word for it.
Very poorly read, but it was hilarious.
You did your best. That's all right.
I will.
Well, I remember when I did the oral presentations for the
Yes.
classes.
Oh, yeah.
I would always have Jason read it. I could never. We would have never passed.
No.
Because we gave a lot of oral
I'm
presentations.
pretty sure you didn't pass anyway.
we did so much oral. No, we did. I think,
We'll check the records on that.
Well, there's no need. The internet.
No.
The internet doesn't work.
Look, was our GPA great? No.
No.
All right, but
God no.
But we excelled in.
we had heart.
Yeah. We had 2 hearts and 1
Two
brain.
hearts, one brain.
And we also had Moxie.
What is Moxie?
It's a soda.
Amoxicillin.
It's some sort of
It's a
antibiotic.
medicine.
Another piece of fan feedback we have is one of our frequent flyers. Someone who's been on the show quite a few times, and someone who has participated in our contest, Who Wants to Host Couch Pilots. And that fella's name is Matt. We're going to give him a call right now, and he's going to read us his essay on why he should host Couch Pilots.
Very excited to hear this.
I'm excited to hear it, too.
Mike, you're not going to get any of this either, probably.
Yeah.
Falls on deaf ears, is that the saying?
Huh?
I'll pretend like I'm interested.
That's what every one of our listeners does.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
It's a lot of pity downloads, is what that's a term I wasn't familiar with before the show.
Hello,
Matthew, this is Jason. How are you?
Jason. Doing great. How are you guys?
I'm great. We're here recording Couch Pilots. I'm here with Captain Philip Restisher.
Hi, how you doing?
Captain Restisher, good to hear you.
Hey.
How are you doing tonight?
Hey, buddy, I'm loving life. Those Lakers keep losing. I love it.
Oh, man. Give me more of that.
I'm also here with our Phoenix Online air instructor. His name is Mike. You want to say hi to Mike?
I would love to say, Mike, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fine, Matt.
Matt, this is not just a pissing in the wind situation. We're calling you for a very specific reason. We had asked all of our frequent flyers, you are definitely one of them, to submit their essays on why they should host Couch Pilots in the very near future. And you have been chosen as one of the 2 people to host the show.
Yes.
What an honor. What an honor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He sounds really broken up about it.
Did you say armoire?
He said he wants an
No
armoire.
idea what that was.
We'll
I
send
would
you
love to have an is that on the table? I didn't want to ask, but we are in desperate need of an armoire.
As a winner of the contest, you can either choose an armoire or to host the show.
You know, it's going to be it's a tight race,
I
but I
won't-
will take the show. I will. Go ahead.
I won't make you
Take the
decide
what?
right now if you don't want to.
I think the opportunity to finally get into the cockpit. The last time I did get up there, I wasn't invited. It got a little cramped, and I was promptly sent back to sit next to the bathroom.
Sure.
So if this is my opportunity to shine, shame on me if I miss it.
Fair enough.
Big mistake.
You should have went for our armoire.
It sounds like a nice armoire.
We've locked you in though. So on the last week's episode, we called Kevin Clark, another person who's been on the show a handful of times, and he read his essay of why he should be hosting Couch Pilots with a guest. And you, as the other party, we wanted to call you and hopefully get your essay on why on the essay you submitted on why you should host the show.
Absolutely. No. So if this is my opportunity to do so, I'd love to do that here. Again, this is a great armoire of mine to contribute to this podcast right now.
Sure.
And what I thought I would share via essay, 500 words or less, is my experience at CouchCon.
Oh, this is great. We just heard from Dee Dee from Down Under, and she gave us her experience.
Sure.
And now, now we're going to get someone here from the mainland.
Yeah, from the States. I thought I would share. Yeah, our experience at CouchCon, but maybe even more specifically, our experience in the birthing suite.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was going to ask if you could help me fill in some blanks, Jay, because there are going to be spots here where I'm either not involved or someone else is caring for the injured parties, and I think that'll make more sense here in just a few minutes.
I can help where need be, but obviously it was your essay that won the position here to be where you are. So go ahead and read it in its entirety, and if you need a hand, just raise it.
Absolutely. Here we go. So it was day 3 of the CouchCon when my wife finally goes into labor. And there we are at Madison Square Gardens. And we'd asked for a birthing suite, and they had just gone so far above and beyond and gave us a skybox, which I originally said, guys, what a kind gesture. But it's maybe a little too transparent, kind of had a fishbowl feel.
Yeah, that's the problem with the skybox is you can see everything, and when your lady is splayed open like that, it's difficult to have privacy.
And it took at least an hour's worth of more or less kind of talking her into this, but
right.
she eventually signs on. Just for the sake of brevity, I won't go into all of that, but
thank you.
I had to give up a lot for us to be able to stay in that skybox.
Yeah.
So here we are, day 3, and it's dawning on us that this is going to be a long labor. We didn't have a doctor. The doctor couldn't show. Apparently, he was called to some other scene at CouchCon, and I can't speak to that part. But you guys were able to round up a midwife for us.
Yeah. We don't believe in doulas. We've gone through that rigmarole, and we think it's just a bunch of malarkey.
And we don't believe in oblongatas either.
No doulas, no oblongatas, only midwives. So yeah, you made the right call.
Oh, very good. Well, I felt like it was our only option at the time, and here we are in this skybox. And actually, I think they sent the catering to the wrong room because people started to filter in that we're going to use the skybox more as like a viewing suite, and it took some time to get them out too and get the catering to the right room. So here we are. We're navigating through all this, and it's we've gone from day 1 into day 2, and that felt like it took forever. And now the midwife wants to start having the conversation about, what options are on the table to get this baby into the world. And
I remember someone threw out the word plunger at one point. Is that correct?
You know what? It was kind of from the background.
Mm-hmm.
We're not quite sure if they were contributing to that conversation.
Yeah,
because
that's fair.
There's a plumbing issue
down
the hall.
Yes, that's true. There may have been some crossfire there. I agree.
So, but I'm glad we got that. Eventually it got cleared up because that had Heather really on pins and needles because she could hear the conversation but couldn't really hear where it was coming from.
Sure, that makes sense.
With that being said, if I may, is that Blake?
No, that was me. I have some intestinal dissatisfaction.
Okay. Well, this is very, very opportune, very timely because as I get to maybe the apex of this story, we have the conversation with the midwife about what options are available. The plunger has been thankfully thrown out, but Blake catches wind, and with the big heart that he has,
oversized, problematically huge heart.
Oh no, that's what I meant. Did you mean something different?
Nope, that's what I meant. I just want to clarify for the listening audience that Blake has an abnormality in his heart.
Yeah. Absolutely. And an extension of that is that he's, maybe not related, but he wanted to help. He really wanted to help. And I remember sending kind of a delegation from the room, folks that have been closer to the birthing situation, to say, hey, could somebody go try to let Blake know it's going to be okay? And he wouldn't have anything of it. He kept offering what he was calling scream therapy.
Scream therapy.
Scream therapy.
Yeah. Now he's been a long-time subscriber to Scream Therapy, and I find it very off-putting. Off-putting is almost like a series of hackings or coughs, I would say.
it almost is like I'm actually. I don't know if you guys are hearing. Is that my end or your end? Because I'm hearing a lot of it right now.
That's on your end.
Very good. I will have to be brief here then going forward because I'm not quite sure.
No, you can stay fully clothed. That'd be fine.
Okay. So Blake offers scream therapy. Eventually, Heather gets to the point where this baby just won't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And she uses some colorful language, which is unlike her. She says, get Blake in here if you guys think it'll bleeping help.
The first woman to ever say that.
And,
For sure.
And Blake got her right up on her and just screamed into her. Is that right?
Almost. Well, almost, because what happened was Blake shows up, and he asks if he could warm up. And I said, the bathroom's open. So
Yeah.
he goes into the bathroom, and what we hear with it, I mean, these walls, these doors are old. They're like paper thin.
Sure.
And you can just hear Blake start to kind of warm up, if you will. Kind of, I don't want to call it a scream, but it's more like a roar, and he's a low roar.
Could you demonstrate?
Yeah, can you demonstrate that for us?
I feel like Blake.
Wait, okay,
No,
that's
that's about as close as I can get it.
yeah, that's real
But
good.
anyway, Heather's like, is he going to do this or not? Because he said he was only going to be a few minutes to warm up.
Is he going to scream into me or not? Right?
Was that her exact
well,
words?
She said that in so many words.
Sure,
But
yeah.
so he's in the bathroom, and a few minutes have gone by, and it's actually been quiet in there. And everybody's just like, let him be. He's fine. He probably just had to use the John. So it gets about 8-10 minutes, and I go in there, and Blake is like gathering himself, and he's really sweaty. I mean, Blake, do you remember any of this?
Oh, like it was yesterday.
Like it was.
Good. For me to be a part of this special journey with you, why would I leave out any details?
Sure. Well, when I found you were kind of gathering yourself. You were sweating profusely. I just thought it was nerves, and we had a really special moment right there.
Sure, we hugged.
And sure, and so you came out into the room, and before any of us could say anything, you let out this scream that you could hear like down the.
Primal? Would you call it
everybody
primal?
thought someone had just died. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except for us in the room that were witnessing this. But again, the idea being that you could startle the baby out of heaven, and
No, you know what? There's a lot of giggling in the room, but there's a lot to be said
Sure.
about the reverberations that can be given from a scream.
I mean, this isn't something I just made up. Like, I have done a lot of research.
You went to the Phoenix Online School of Birthing, right?
Yes, and I went to.
yeah, he said it was one of Mike's courses.
Yeah,
and I said, well, at least he's educated.
Mike, you obviously said earlier we weren't the best in class for the
Right.
flight, but how did Blake do when it comes in the birthing class?
Oh, at the birthing class?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, A plus
Yeah.
all the way.
A-okay.
Yeah,
I
no,
know
this
my-
guy knows how to birth.
I know.
I'll tell you that right now.
I know my way around those areas.
You've screamed. That's not the first one you've screamed into.
Well, so if I may, I want to be mindful of it. I'll try to wrap this up here. So anyway, Blake screams, and what follows is no baby whatsoever. It is Blake collapses under the weight of his own scream, and
It's because I was doing it from the wrong end. That's why the baby didn't come out.
Sure. He starts some really heavy wheezing. The sweating starts again.
Sure.
And we start to ask people to kind of leave the room because it's very clear now that Blake is in need of medical attention.
And that's
It became all about me.
as almost
Yeah,
everything
okay.
does.
That's the danger of birthing.
Yeah.
It can.
And yeah,
reverse
this is
at any
great, man,
moment.
because this is kind of ultimately what led to Blake spending the latter part of CouchCon in that iron lung, right?
That's it. So they whisk Blake.
Yeah.
So we called the paramedics, and Blake is more or less scooped up off the floor. I would love to say that he was almost recovering. It would seem like it would maybe be a quick event, like he'd gather. No, there was something he was in critical condition.
Sure.
And he was gasping for air.
Tomorrow is not promised.
No. And so they whisk him away, and that's when I lose some sight of of what transpires afterwards, and I had to follow up with you afterwards, Jason.
Yeah, you got your own priorities to deal with for sure. And I tell you what,
is rattled.
and thank you for reading that. That is verbatim why you should host Couch Pilots. So that's a winning. That's what a winning essay looks like.
Can I just say I have a whole new appreciation for Dee Dee?
She kept it brief.
Yes.
No. If you could put a bow on it though, and share after Blake was in the iron lung.
After birth, after Blake. Yeah, that's right.
After birth, after Blake. Blake is then recovered, but he's found. You go out more or less to search for him. Isn't that right?
Yes, there are a couple of hospitals, obviously, in the Manhattan area, and I had to find out exactly where he was to follow up with him. But thank God, they said he's stronger than ever. He said his heart is enveloped in a powerful callus.
That's encouraging to hear because the only update I did receive was that it's very touch and go right now with Blake, and that they do not recommend scream therapy in his future anytime soon.
Well, I think what they meant by that was that he touched a nurse, and then he went. So he touched and goed, and then they said, "Do not scream at him to startle him. He's a very dangerous individual."
Yeah,
that's what they meant by a lot of that. So I'm decoding that for you.
So he breaks out of the iron lung. You recover him from a Waffle House. Is this right?
Yes, and it's one of those situations. I know it's comical to say, but the W had gone out and it just said Awful House on it. But we sit there. Yeah. We had about a quarter pound of
the many Waffle Houses in Manhattan.
Sure, yeah. Oh, it's littered. Manhattan is
well known.
The Lower East Side is just littered with Waffle Houses. But Blake and I ate our weight in pancakes and waffles that day. And you know what? Like I said, we're healthier than ever, and we're looking towards the future, and we're looking toward you. And I don't know if you know this, but the other participant is Kevin Clark. He'll be co-hosting the episode of Couch Pilots with you, where Blake and I will be sitting on the sidelines.
Outstanding. We will not do you guys wrong. Now, this plane, Kevin and I will have to talk about who gets it up, who does everything in the middle, and then who gets it down.
Right.
There's a listener right there.
We can have a crash course, Matt. I can take you through a quick crash course.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
No, that'd be great. So, thank you guys for this opportunity. Thanks for letting me share my essay and my experience at CouchCon. Blake, I have never been more happy to hear you wheezing and coughing up a lung there
thank
on
you.
the other end of the line.
Please, again, congratulations on the new birth. And
thank you so much.
Let Heather know she was a trooper, and she took everything in stride and
all the screaming.
Yeah, and she really.
She was originally very. She was like, no, I don't want Blake seeing my undercarriage and everything like that.
Well, that's what most women say.
But it got to a point where she was just ready for that baby to be born.
Sure.
And,
do whatever you got to do. Scream right into me if you have to.
And please let her know. I do apologize again. I think it would have worked, but I was doing it from the wrong end, and so I apologize for that.
It's a common mistake.
I don't think there's any hard time. She's just very smitten with a very healthy baby girl, and we're in great shape.
Did you?
We're just really excited. I'm going to get to fly this plane, and thank you guys for this opportunity. One and on more.
Did you guys get the onesie that I sent that says my mom got screamed out and all I got was this T-shirt?
That got flagged. That actually got it was originally detained. They thought it was one of the explosive devices that were being sent to politicians.
Sure.
And it was detained. And then it finally made it to our house, so we just got it today. But I did mean to say thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
They said, please don't wrap it like that in the future, or put the address being cut out like with magazine letters.
And don't write the word bomb on it either.
They didn't like that.
This gift is the bomb.
They asked me to pass that along. They asked me to pass that along to you. So,
this burping was the bomb.
Matt, thank you so much. I hope we didn't interrupt anything. We appreciate you reading your essay verbatim right here on the show. You've definitely won. We can't wait to set up a date with you to host Couch Pilots.
Look forward to it, guys. Be good. Have a good night.
See you, buddy.
All right, see ya.
Wow, that was a great episode of Couch Pilots.
I can't think of another situation where you and I can talk so openly about his wife's vagina.
I was talking about her butt.
Today we discussed the pilot episode of Fargo from the year of our Lord 2003. Great year.
2003, great year. I would say it's a good year for the Roses.
Now, what does that mean?
Well, that means if I say that was a great year for the Roses, that means that I had sex that year.
Mike, when was the first time you had sex?
Oh, jeez. I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay,
No,
that's fair.
I can't remember that far back.
It was in the late 80s.
There was cocaine involved.
I was 6.
He was 6 years old.
Nice.
Nice job.
There you go.
So 2003, you look back and you say this is a year that had a lot of there's a lot of fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Californication.
What does that mean?
That's a rap song?
No.
No.
2003. I look back to that year and I think, man, oh man, alive. I was 22 years old.
Yep, and I was 28.
20. What a time to be alive. Mike, how old were you in 2003?
22 as well.
19. Your birthday is, I know what it is. It's August 20th?
So
23rd.
close. There you go.
You know, I've had this mistake before. I used to have a roommate. His name was Dana, and his birthday was on the 20th.
Oh, okay.
And if two people's birthdays are near each other, I can never remember it. Ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Ever.
I just want to point out, too, that I was wrong. I was 21.
Oh, you're 21?
I'm not good at math.
Okay.
You don't have to be.
I can fly, but math,
Right.
not so good.
That's fine.
You know.
And, we're all alive back in 2003.
That's a good point.
And we probably have a good recollection of that time period, what it meant to be alive, but we have to go back there in our minds so we can properly digest Fargo to give it a fair shake.
Right, because you can't look at, we're in 2018, almost 2019.
Right.
And if we look at this pilot from 2003 and judge it based on today's standards,
Nope.
They would all be zeros, right? Because in 2003, Mike, you know as well as I do.
We have a lot of things right now in 2018 we didn't have back then.
That's a good point.
Band-Aids,
No,
right?
Yeah,
Right.
no.
Chocolate.
Right.
Can you
Right.
believe that? I can't. I feel like I can't imagine a time without chocolate.
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, of course, Courtney Cox. We didn't have her either.
Yeah. Just a few months away, I believe, at that point from that Bruce Springsteen video that she was in.
Yep. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't know who she was.
No. So that's what we do, Mike. We think about things that happened in that time period so we can digest this pilot. November 4th, 2003, the most powerful solar flare is observed by satellite instrumentation is recorded.
Wow.
Solar flare.
And that's the song by Dave Matthews Band.
Sing it.
Satellite by my eye like a diamond been to. Oh, I wonder. Satellite.
Arguably the worst Dave Matthews song.
Is
And
that
best,
possible?
all at the same time.
Yeah.
Are they-
Every single one of his songs is on a completely even playing field of being the worst and best
Yep.
simultaneously. And let's never forget that they dumped a bunch of shit in the Chicago River. Mike, you seem to know that. You know that fact that they did that? The river, that little river that runs through Chicago.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And they got some bridges over there, and some of the bridges are graded. They have it's like grates. Dave Matthews was in some kind of
Tour bus.
Yes, and they're like, what we got in this tour bus? It's a bunch of fucking human shit. So we'll dump it into the river.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, and that happened. That's a thing that happened.
That literally happened?
Yeah,
To look that up.
we can't make this kind of stuff up. Could we make up like a whole con that happened? A couch con? Come on.
No.
It would take too many people to do that.
Yeah, no.
We don't have that kind of time or passion. Solar flare, though. What I think of a solar flare is some sort of event on the sun that sends a massive amount of radiation out into space that has almost no consequence on my own life.
Right.
Did you just read that definition? Or how do you know that?
What part? The what I just said?
The sun thing, yeah.
No, the radiation thing. No, that was from the top of my head.
You know that. Wow.
Well, that's what it is, right? It's some sort. It's like saying something the size of planet Earth that we live on just kind of like did a little burp, and like here's some fucking fire and like deadly radiation.
Yeah. I mean, we won't feel those effects for probably 20 more years.
Right.
You'll be long dead by then.
Yeah.
Everyone in this room will be dead.
Oh yeah.
November 12th, 311 mile per hour Shanghai Trans Rapid sets up a new world record for commercial railway systems. I want to go fast.
There's no need to go that fast.
Why not?
In a train?
Sure.
No. I love a train. When I ride on a train, I just want to take my time.
Choo-choo.
I want to say choo-choo, but I want to look at the scenery. I want to enjoy myself. Have you ever tried to walk up and down that railway car to get to the food car at the end? And they're going too fast and it's all bumpy and it's very. If you're going 300 miles an hour,
You're never gonna make it.
Yeah. You just get plastered up.
I love trains. I don't know about you guys. You guys ever get on a train?
Oh, I've been in a train or two.
I'm generally the caboose.
You're a caboose boy?
Typically.
You ever scream in a caboose? I think that if you had like some sort of railway system between the coasts, it's like 300 to 500 miles per. Why the fuck not? You get across the country in a few hours versus a few days.
It's about enjoying your life, enjoying the trip.
You saying it's about the journey, not the destination?
Yes,
Why did I just say it and then you didn't?
because you got better words than me.
But what if you just want to get somewhere and you want to just like hang out and party?
Where would you want to get so fast?
A Golden Gate Bridge.
Now you're just fucking with me. I keep punching the radio, which you're not supposed to do.
You remember when they sang "Come on, Ride the Train"?
Yeah, that's a good song.
It's a cheap
song.
That's a good song, man.
I like that song.
November 17th, Britney Spears, at 21 years old, becomes the youngest singer to get a star on Hollywood Walk of Fame.
And this was all before she went crazy.
How do you get a star on the Walk of Fame, you think? Walk of Flame.
You just you just have to be good at your job.
Was Britney Spears good at her job?
I think so.
I think
she
so,
was.
too.
She was good
A
at.
few people thought that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think I wanted to, like, fuck her.
So if that was her job, getting you
Flying
to want to
colors.
fuck her,
Right,
then,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, she made it. She did a great job.
I think
My
notoriously...
grandpa always said, "Whatever you do good, do it all the time," and that's
Okay.
what she did.
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
made guys want to fuck her.
got Jason to want to fuck her.
Yeah. Her job was specifically for me
for you.
to want to do that to her.
Right.
I think she's a shit singer, right? She's not great.
No.
She just does a lot of...
Well, and isn't that like
Oh,
that
baby,
auto-tune
baby.
like makes it all sound the same anyway?
Sure. Yes.
Like, yeah.
But she's just like a sex pot.
Yeah, she was like Debbie Gibson's trampy sister.
Right. She was like the Electric Youth gone wild, right?
But what do you think the origin of sex pot is?
Like if you fucked a plant, that would...
It's in the sex pot?
Sure.
Yeah, all right.
A Venus flytrap that was just coming on too strong. You know, a lot of what are those orchids look like vaginas, right? Georgia O'Keeffe was not doing nothing. She was a lesbian in the Southwest, American Southwest, painting vaginas.
There's a IBWIP.
Flowers are vaginas.
Yeah, there's an IBWIP show art that has some of her
Georgia
stuff out.
It's air inside a vagina.
Yeah, I know.
A Georgia O'Keeffe?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the official name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was her pen name. And with Georgia O'Keeffe, I am safely and securely back in 2003 and ready to judge this pilot. How about you guys? No. What are you doing?
What?
Whoops.
Mike, do you have any idea why we chose to watch Fargo?
I don't.
That's fair. That's fair. You know
That's
what?
all I got.
If someone's coming here and they're like, I've never heard your show,
Sure.
I might like fold my arms like this and like get like a But for a man who's never heard a podcast, period, I can't throw stones
Sure.
at that.
Don't throw stones.
Why did we
the guy
watch?
sat through a 45-minute phone call, for Christ's sake. Everything's cool, right?
It was
rough.
pretty extensive.
That was rough.
There's three pillars to why we choose to watch a show. One, it had to be a pilot episode of a television show, whether it aired or not is irrelevant. It just irrelevant.
An irrelevant.
Irrelevant. But it couldn't go to series.
Right.
Number two.
Good.
Number two, we had to find it on the internet. And number three, it had to be free.
So where can you find the entire episode of Fargo? For yourself, you can do so by subscribing to Couch Pilot's SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes. Or go to YouTube, Mike.
And you know what to do, too.
No, he's gonna fail.
Yeah.
He must fail.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
Set me up for failure.
Yeah. You ever ride the train?
A couple times.
What train did you ride?
The choo-choo train?
Yeah. The choo-choo train? That's the one? All right.
You know.
The Polar Express.
Summary of the pilot. Marge Gunderson, the still pregnant police chief of Brainerd, Minnesota, investigates the murder of a town farmhouse.
Hey, to me, that is a decent summary.
That's what we saw.
Yeah, so I'd say that's a B summary.
A B, okay. Mike, do you care to grade, as a teacher yourself, do you care to grade that summary?
D-.
Whoa. He was strict.
I'm a strict.
Yeah,
I was.
He was a stickler.
Nothing
I
else
tell
you can say. I was a strict grader.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep, for sure.
A stickler.
And now, Mike, someone who is a stickler and not someone who's heard the show before, I want you to pay special attention to Blake as he proceeds to tell us about the section called Interesting Facts.
Interesting Facts. It is a segment of the show because Apple Podcast says each of your segments has to have a name. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason we named it that.
As Steve Jobs' dying wish.
Right. And so Jason, in Interesting Facts, Jason scours the internet to find facts about this pilot, the specific pilot that you may not know.
Right.
And he works really hard at it.
So hard.
But there's one thing that we ask is that you're going to think to yourself, oh, that's an interesting fact.
You're going to have some sort of opinion accumulate when you hear these things.
But what we ask is to not taint everybody else's experience.
Taint. Taint is the area between your asshole and nutsack.
Yeah,
I knew you were going to make a comment about that.
It taint your butt and it taint your dick.
Yeah.
That's why they named it that. Because it taint your butt and it taint your dick.
I get it.
So what?
So, what?
So what? That basically is the whole show.
Yeah.
So what?
So what?
We should change the name of the podcast to So What? Keep your opinions to yourself, and the best way to say this wraps it all up. Guys, just don't do it.
Don't do it. There's so many things you could do.
Yeah, but this is not one of them. Don't do it.
The episode aired on September 2nd, 2003 during Trio's brilliant but canceled series of failed TV shows.
Fact.
That's a fact. Mike?
You can't dispute that it's a fact, right?
That's exactly right. You can't dispute it. It's a fact.
I will agree.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
This is the first TV show spin-off of the Fargo movie from 1996. A pilot was shot and aired, but the series was not picked up.
Fact.
Yeah. Fact. Originally a 1997 script for the proposed TV series featuring the characters of Marge Gunderson and Officer Lou, written by Bruce Paltrow and Robert Palm.
Was he related to Gwyneth?
The father of Gwyneth Paltrow. Fact. Yeah. Nothing we can say about that.
Yeah.
Why would you and I take in these facts and regurgitate some sort of opinion to mindfuck our loyal listeners?
Exactly. We're not mind fucking anybody.
No. We regular fuck them.
We're not mind fucking ourselves.
A second attempt at a spin-off from the film was successfully made in 2014 as an anthology about the history of the town rather than the characters from the film. Fact.
Yeah.
It's a fact. Yeah.
I don't think we need to say fact after each.
I think we should say it 3 to 4 times after every one.
Okay, all right. I'll note that.
Fact. Fargo is an actual town in North Dakota and is considered a nothing town. I'm not sure what nothing town means. I don't know. It's a fact that I don't know what that means.
Mike, where are you from?
A nothing town.
Okay.
You're from a nothing town? Mm-hmm. So what does that mean?
I couldn't tell you.
Fact.
It's just a fact.
Fact. The only person from the original film who was involved was Bruce Bone, who played Marge's sidekick, Officer Lou.
Fact. Oh, Jesus. This show's built in the back of his back perps.
Thank you. Directed by Kathy Bates.
Oh, really?
Correct. Fact.
Wow.
interesting facts over.
Nice. Good job, Mike.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah, thank you.
That was very good.
I appreciate it.
No slippery slopes there.
No. I guess I would go ahead and say at this point, Twitter responses.
Twitter responses. I wonder Jason got some Twitter responses.
No, I don't, but I love A1 sauce.
Medium rare. Let it go. Is my steak okay?
A1 steak sauce. Yeah, it's that important.
Did my dick okay?
Thank you, A1 Steak Sauce, for supporting tonight's program.
Sure.
Couch Pilots. We appreciate that very much. It's A1 Steak Sauce is the kind of sauce, it hits you right here, and also it hits you right here. Right in the neck area.
This is not a visual podcast.
No one has any idea what you just said.
Can we do a visual podcast? Can we change this?
Is that a television show?
A vlog.
Or yeah, a vlog, yeah.
What is going on with you and your coughing? It's the season or what?
Yeah, it's the season.
It's bumming me out.
This is really good, actually.
So like, it's just what? It's like the dry air is fucking you up, or what is it?
The change in temperature, and then I get sick, and then I can't get unsick for the rest of the year until.
So you seem like the next 4 or 5 months you're going to be sick.
Yeah, you can know me long enough. You know this is what happens. That's why they call it. That's why Kevin calls it cup season.
Oh boy, that is pretty gross, isn't it? All right,
But if you leave it, if you swallow it and put it back in your lungs, then you get pneumonia.
and then I will
Automatically.
throw up.
Yeah. After 13 ounces, automatically, boom, pneumonia.
All right,
And if you're walking, then you have walking pneumonia.
oh, boy.
That's the definition.
Yeah. I always did good on my definitions, didn't I, Mike?
You did. You did.
Thank you for making
your
thank
one-
you for making us define things. The pilot we watched is Fargo. It's about 40, 45 minutes long, but we've only got 10 minutes to discuss it. That's the time limit we put on ourselves. Otherwise, it just goes on fucking forever and people fall asleep like
Right.
me. So I'm going to hit the button here that says start, and I'm going to look at you when I do so.
Okay, I've never seen the movie Fargo, so this was going to be an interesting little excursion for me. It was snowy, and for like the first 10 minutes, there's no dialogue. Maybe not 10 minutes. Maybe the first 5 minutes, there's no dialogue whatsoever. I don't know what's going on. I just see that there's a bunch of snow, and some guy can't start his car. Next thing I know, boom, gets his head blown off.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
I also have never seen the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
High five.
Yeah.
I like that noise. Yeah, it's a vacant parking lot. A man can't start his car, and
Right.
someone comes up, and it looks like a woman.
Yeah.
Blasts him
That's
at
what you
point blank
assume,
range
yeah.
with a shotgun.
Right.
Right. And so they
And then there's still no dialogue, like even for a minute or two after that.
yeah.
When there is dialogue. Hiya,
how are ya?
There's a Prego sheriff.
Played by Edie Falco of Oz and Nurse Jackie and Carmilla Soprano fame.
Well, I know why they didn't have a bunch of dialogue at the beginning of this, because that fucking accent is annoying.
The accent is wildly prevalent. We are in Minnesota, eh?
Right? Yeah.
Right? It's virtually a Canadian accent, eh?
Right.
Right?
So we got to find out more about this pregnant lady, right?
I suppose so. We find out that Bob Trotter is the name of the man who was dead. Now, where I come from, trot means have the diarrhea.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
In case of the trots.
That's right.
Oh, for where I come from, trot means is how to get from one point to another.
Oh, that's interesting. High five that. She discusses, her name is Marge Gunderson. She discusses with her husband, Norm, about the...
Norm!
Is that a Cheers reference?
Yeah.
That he's a painter of fowl, it looks like.
Yeah.
And this is where I noticed, yes, the accents are wildly heavy. From the
Yeah.
get-go, we find this out. And she's due in 5 weeks, right?
Yep, she's doing 5 weeks. That guy's Norm's nice enough to put her socks on for her because she can't do it. Which I would think if you're a sheriff and if you're this big at this point, it'd probably be safe for you just to like
You're taking some time off, right?
paint some foul with your husband.
That was one of the first things I thought is why.
Why is she still working?
Yeah.
Right.
Why is this law enforcer like so encumbered?
Yeah. She's
She
supposed to
lives-
be protecting this
Right.
community, but yet she...
Yeah,
No.
this no name town, you know.
You know who I want protecting us? The person who can't put on their own socks.
I feel very safe.
And then they go to a man that's in a fishing like ice fishing.
He sure as
boat.
hell looks dead to me.
He's dead as can be.
Super dead.
And
Yeah.
I think there's Anne Murray is playing. I think it was Anne Murray. that
His
was
wife? His wife.
playing. No,
Wait, what?
the song that was playing.
the
I think
song.
it was Anne Murray.
Okay.
And so then we meet Lou, who is like the deputy.
And again,
like
he's
Barney
the only
Fife.
guy from the original film
Sure.
to make it into this
Right.
show.
And he goes in. All of a sudden, he's just going into this mechanic shop and tells this guy Sonny that his dad's dead.
Yep.
And Sonny's like,
Okay.
"Okay, thanks for coming out, Lou."
This is where I make note that like everyone is like so polite.
Yes.
And this is where I make a note. It's very slow, simple dialogue. Everything is kind of drawn out. Even like the camera shots are kind of drawn out.
Right.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I feel like I can't ramp this thing up fast enough to make it make sense. Like it's almost going too slow for me to even remotely see.
Well, he's like, hey, Sonny Anderson, your dad, Norm, he's now a dead guy. And he's like, oh, boy, I'm sorry to hear that. And he's like, I'm sorry to hear that, too. And then he leaves. And then Sonny, like, walks around for, like, 15, 20 seconds.
Right.
You're like, what the fuck is... Okay, yeah, we get
I
it.
think he goes into his dad's office and
Yeah.
then turns the light off, and that's it.
But, it was done. It was very drawn out.
There's a lot of those where it doesn't look like they know how to end the scene. And so it's just kind of...
Right. They go back to the crime scene, and the ambush.
They make it sound like something was disconnected, so the car was purposefully stalled, and they're wondering, was this an ambush? Was it a hitman?
Right.
And we find out later that it kind of was a situation where they planned that person
Sure.
to be stalled out.
The next scene is Sonny and his mom are at the funeral home, and they're talking about how their father's going to be buried probably in April, so there's no need to like figure out which casket right now because
The ground's so hard,
yeah.
right?
You're goddamn right, that ground's hard, baby.
Good lord, man. Every person that works at a funeral home is creepy, right?
Sure.
Like
Prerequisite.
like without a doubt.
Yeah.
All of them.
It gotta be.
And no offense, Blake, but when I went to your grandma's funeral, I hate to bring it up 2 weeks in a row.
Wow.
But there was a dude there who was like super fucking creepy, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it was like a younger dude too, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He was probably like late 20s, early 30s.
yeah,
like
'cause
that
he-
dude creeped me the fuck out.
Yeah, he was the one that was talking about, that we were going to the Driftwood afterwards, and he was explaining the whole pull a rose, give a rose kind of thing. Yeah, he was super creepy.
I think there is a certain mentality that says, you know what I want to do the rest of my life? Hang around the dead.
Right, touch
Like,
dead
all right,
people.
You're a fucking weirdo, all right?
Yeah.
I guess you can finger my dead relative as long as you prepare them to be buried.
Right,
know.
as long as you put the tie on right.
Oh, boy. So the brothers, Sonny and Fritz Anderson, Fritz came from out of town. They said now they're fighting over what to do with Dad.
Yeah, because Fritz wants him to have a Viking burial like
Yeah.
his dad wanted.
That came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
dude. Like, by the way, he's a Viking.
Yeah,
Right,
it was
yeah.
very bizarre.
Yeah.
There's like
And Sonny's like, he never talked about it. He's like, oh, he talked about it all the time. He's like, no, he didn't.
That was really weird. They never really explained that either. Like,
there's never resolution
two
to it.
brothers had zero recollection of what the other experienced.
Yes, yeah, they had these totally different experiences, and it's never resolved. At the end, it's just kind of like, okay, well, I guess we'll light our dad on fire. But there's two different stories.
In a Viking funeral, you're supposed to put him on the boat with all this stuff, light it on fire, and then push it out.
And shoot it like an arrow, a flaming arrow out to hit it. Yeah.
But everything's frozen, so they're just going to leave it in the middle of the lake,
Yeah,
and
that's
hopefully the flames will melt the ice.
If not, a dad and his son is going to come across a burnt corpse on top of the ice when they're going to go ice fishing.
Right,
you
but
know?
later on they pull the squad car up onto the lake,
Yeah.
and if it's that thick to where you can pull a car up onto
Well,
it,
fire's
I don't
not gonna-
think that little fire you started is gonna.
Nope.
No,
It's
it's
just going to be
there all winter.
It's going to be a corpse sitting there till April, right?
Yep.
So you have this dead dad brother feud. What to do with the body? B storyline, and you go back to the A storyline, and they're like, who killed this man in this parking lot? Whoever it was, they have a size 8 foot. And then Marge and Lou get a call on the radio, and it says there's a breaking and entering at the funeral home with Mr. Shat, which is a silly name.
Right.
And so they go back and they say, Norm Anderson, the guy who died in the ice shack at the beginning, his body has been taken away.
Yeah, somebody stole it. It was a breaking and entering.
A B&E.
B&E.
So they go to the beauty salon, and there's a kind of a sexy broad doing this. We've only got a few minutes left. But like this,
But we got to get some attention to this.
Yeah,
this
this sexy broad, she's pretty attractive, honestly. She's like, I could pose for Playboy, and this woman who's sitting there is very disgruntled. She's like, basically, do whatever you got to do. You be happy.
Yeah.
Your life is short.
And,
you never know what's going to be over.
And for me, when I was watching this scene, I was like, this has nothing to do with anything.
Right.
Yeah, she was totally projecting on this poor beautician, and she's saying, all my kids are a mess. In the end, you're all alone. Do what makes you happy. And I seriously think, because we get a small glimpse of the murderer, at this point I said, is this lady the murderer?
I had no idea. I didn't even think about it.
Well, Marge and Lou are then going over the case, and then a couple people come in. They're the finders, and they're complaining about a boat that's being stolen. The guy kind of exaggerates what was actually taken.
Right, because
Very nice boat.
Yeah,
is what he
because
said.
insurance purposes.
Yeah.
Damn it.
The next scene, we see a car driving away with the boat.
Oh,
And then they drive into a ditch wildly.
Yeah, they're driving like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
The whole all the scenes with this like truck pulling seem completely random.
It's very
Like,
this is a show that doesn't give you a lot of context for each scene,
Right.
But like literally the next scene, they're kind of wrapping it up,
Right.
So it's leaving you dangling. It's a trope of modern television. That's kind of like, hey, here's this. You don't know what this is. That's fine. We'll tell you in a little bit.
right. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
I also note at this point in the show that there are no black people whatsoever in this.
Well,
It's too far north.
it's
Yeah.
no.
Wow, that's racist. Okay.
Which
At a-
part?
At a
Don't
local
come.
at a local sporting goods store, Marge Gunderson, the chief of police, the pregnant lady, is saying, you know what? These bullets that we found, the shotgun shells, full of
they're
birdshot,
yeah.
they're homemade, they're reused shells. Someone around here probably is reusing their shells. We can maybe find out who that person is. So they talk to a guy at the store that says, you know what? My dad used to do it. He's a dead guy. But the guy he used to fish with, he's still alive.
he's
Maybe
not
we
a
could talk to
dead
him.
guy.
Yeah, not a dead guy at all.
Yeah, so they go drive up on the ice
Yep.
and go talk to these guys, and he's like, this is my signature like crimp I put in this little thing, and he's like,
Well, do you get a size 8 foot?
he's
and
like,
he says,
no, of course not.
He's like, I'm a man, goddammit.
I have a size 12, and what kind of hunter would have a size 8? And come to find out, his wife has a size 8 and access to his guns, which never give your wife
Never
access
give your wife.
to.
Ever. Mike, do
You
you
know-
give your wife access to your guns?
No.
That's why you're in charge, I tell you what.
Yep.
So they go and talk to the wife, and Shirley, she's like, hey, you know what? It is me. Time's up.
Oh. Wow.
There's a good chunk in the middle that we missed.
Close.
Wow.
There's a good chunk in the middle that we missed. But you can go check it out for yourself if you want to go to our show notes. The link to the episode itself is there. But you know what? I think it's time for a little turbulence.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
Fargo. The movie was acclaimed. Frances McDormand, who played the role that was taken over by Edie Falco, won an Oscar for that. That's a Coen Brothers film. And for me, all you have to say is Coen Brothers, and I'm going to watch it. Those guys are fantastic. Sure. Fargo, pretty good flick. Last time I saw it was maybe 10-ish years ago.
Wow.
Good flick for sure. This says, maybe we can capitalize.
Were you
off
getting your
this.
nay sucked when you?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't getting Adam Z's dick sucked when I did it. No, absolutely not. Isn't that what we call Adam Z's dick? Is nene?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because all the girls go, nah.
Nah, I don't think so. That's a hard pass for me on this dick.
And I also forgot I didn't get time to mention, I didn't mean to interrupt you here, but
No,
they
it's fine.
do play Bob Seger's Against the Wind during
They
this.
do, don't they? Yes.
It's going to get a Bob Seger bump if you ask me.
That's when the brothers are coming out of the bar, right? Yeah, I remember that.
Against the wind, I'm boy running against the wind. Let the cowboys ride.
Love that Silver Bullet band.
Ah, yes.
So, oh boy, I don't know.
I lost. I'm sorry. I kind of jumped the gun there.
Oh no, that's fine.
But since we're derailed anyway, I fixed the problem.
Oh, good job. What was the problem?
On that specific file, the bar was moved all the way over to left.
You got to move that bar.
Put it back in the middle.
I probably did it by accident. I'm sorry. But yeah, you had the 1994, 96 film, and then you have the current. Like it's still going, and it's TV shows right now are kind of at a leisurely pace. Whenever they come out on like cable or streaming services. But on FX, you can see Fargo. Have either of you, Mike or Blake, seen the Fargo series on FX?
That's a negatory.
Okay, if either of you have Hulu, it's on there. It's actually pretty good. Each season is self-contained to where it's about something odd that happened in or around this town.
Should I see the movie first?
No, you don't have to.
No, not necessary. All right.
While Joel and Ethan Coen are executive producers on the current TV show, it has the same feel of it, but it's none of the same characters. No, not connected necessarily. It might live in that same universe, but it's not.
It's
related.
canon now, right?
Thank you very much. Wow. Great show. This fell in the middle between the current series. Obviously, it didn't work. Captain Philip, rest assured, I turn to you between your coughs. What is wrong with... And you're wheezing. I forgot to mention you're wheezing. I'm sorry. That's ASMR. That's when people listen...
No, that's death. That's what that's
death.
Oh, God, it's so close. I can just taste it.
What happened with this show? Why didn't it work?
Taste death?
Oh, yeah.
What does it taste like? Butterscotch?
I know. It tastes like an infection.
Oh, that makes more sense than butterscotch.
Old people always gave you butterscotch.
Little Werther's original.
Right.
This didn't work for me because it was, like I said, the dialogue was slow. The camera pans were slow. It just didn't, like, I guess I was expecting it to be more fast-paced. But I'm saying, the dialogue was so slow between two people, betwixt even.
Okay.
And so that's what I had a problem with. You know, I mean, I understand they had like I said, they had an A story and a B story, and you know I think if you would have sped it up, I would have been able to keep up with it more.
Right. I felt like too, like they relied, like the whole. It was obvious they wanted some kind of comedy element, but they completely relied on the accents to like
as the
provide,
comedic part.
Yeah, as the comedic part. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was more poking fun at the regionalism versus like we should write comedy into this.
Right.
You know what's funny? The way these motherfuckers talk. You know?
They sound stupid.
Right. They're almost comedic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For me, I think they captured how they talked pretty well. It is a little extreme at points. And the slowness, again, I think is how they talk up there. It's a little slower paced.
We got shit to do down here.
I think about... Do you remember the Zombieland one we did? The Zombieland show?
Yes, I do remember that.
That was a movie that said, you know what, let's take the characters from this successful movie and perpetuate the characters into this show. I think the current season or series of Fargo on FX got it right.
Okay.
They said, let's kind of get the quirkiness and the feel of the movie, give it different characters. I think this is where this failed. It said, let's continue the story of these characters. I think that's where this fails, is trying to force the characters down our throats where we don't need that. We just like the feel and the oddness that is the Fargo film.
And maybe that was one of the reasons why it was hard for me, because I've never seen the movie.
Right, me neither.
So I had no connection with these characters at all.
Well, that might have boded well for you.
Well, maybe.
I don't know.
It didn't.
It didn't. Okay.
It could have.
Yeah.
It didn't.
It didn't.
Yeah, the accents were wildly strong, like just cranked up to a fucking 11.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because other people saw this, right? And now we'll talk about their experiences with this. If you just press the button.
Sorry, I'm trying to eat.
Gotta do.
One thing.
Here we go.
Push that button.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
What did you
to
win?
FCF Airport.
50 entry tokens and 20 entry tokens.
Whatever that
For your
means.
safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened.
You know, the guy that wrote Lord of the Rings.
J.A.R. Tolkien's tokens. J.R.R. 20 tokens.
And if you guys listened to last week's episode, I just tied that shit together with a nene.
IMDb. What does IMDb stand for? Do you know, Blake?
Yes, I do. It stands for neurotic, messed up, independent boys.
Sure. Why not? And that's a 1 to 10 scale, decimal points in play. What do you think people from around the world scored Fargo?
You want to go first, Mike? Or you want me to do it? I'll get it
Yeah,
right.
why don't you do it?
6.5.
I'm gonna say 4.3.
6.8.
Woo!
I'm on fire.
Yeah, wow.
That's out of 10 from this. This is odd from a 295 ratings, which is a lot for one of our pilots.
Yeah, definitely.
Our pilots
But it's
are
got
usually
the brand name of Fargo. I mean,
and sometimes we do a lot of brand name stuff, and it's not always seen.
Really?
So honestly, as low as this might seem, it's actually a pretty high number of people rating it.
We've actually tried to do shows that have that kind of branding so we can get listeners, and it don't work.
It does not work.
No, nothing works.
Critic reviews. Emily Nussbaum from the New York Times says, earlier spin on his weasel spouse. Oh, I started that in a half sentence. I'm sorry. The 1997's Fargo is a stranger adaptation. It's got a quirky Northern Exposure flavor mingled with a morbid vibe that presages 6 Feet Under. It's a blend that might have found its way over time. On the other hand, a pre-Sopranos Edie Falco plays the lead, so perhaps it's a blessing that the show never made the cut.
I personally, Northern Exposure came to mind, but Northern Exposure was not that slow.
No, it seemed like a forced Northern Exposure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I like Northern Exposure.
I do too.
Brian Lloyd from entertainment.ie says, watching it now, it's clear why this particular Fargo didn't work and the more recent one did. Aside from the fact that the film managed to turn its overall cheapness into a part of its texture, whereas the TV show just lived it with forceability. There was also the mistake of casting Edie Falco in the role.
Wow.
A mistake?
He says, as failed pilots go, the 1997...
She must have broke up with him.
No, that's probably what it was. The 1997 Fargo wasn't that bad. There's been far worse ones, including the fabled Game of Thrones pilot that nobody has seen, and the L.A. Confidential one with Kiefer Sutherland as Kevin Spacey's Jack Vicini's.
Yep, we've seen that one. That was early. That was
first few seasons of Couch Pilots. It's more of a kind of hubris thinking that one of the best films ever made could so casually be continued without even bothering to consult or bring about the original creators, which again, Joel and Ethan Coen were not involved.
Right.
Viewer reviews. Looks like 8 out of 10 stars. Pretty good spin-off of the film. This pilot for a series manages to capture pretty well the memorable tone of the 1996 film, leaving aside the extreme violence of the kidnapping plot. Edie Falco takes over the role of Chief Gunderson, played so memorably in the film by Frances McDormand, here investigating a local domestic crime. McDormand's Oscar-winning performance was so adenable, it's difficult to accept someone else playing the role, but Falco comes as close as it's fair to accept. More detail about the town of Brainerd fleshes out the story, including Jeffrey Nofitz and Robert Joy as the two brothers. Now, did you recognize Fritz Anderson?
I did.
Yeah. What did you recognize him from?
I don't know. I knew him.
Modern day viewers of television might recognize him, I believe, and I'm only pulling this from an old episode of Couch Pilots, as like a doctor or a scientist from like an NCIS show.
Okay.
But he's a character actor.
I was right. I'm sure he's been on like several different shows.
Probably so.
I definitely recognize him.
Blake, you and I recognize him as the titular character from the failed television pilot, The Nerd.
Ah.
Do you remember The Nerd?
Yes.
Oh, it was so terrible.
Oh,
it was so bad.
But yeah.
That was him.
That's cool.
Anyway, it's easy to see how it might be a hard sell as a series. However, it's nice to have a chance to see this pilot.
Nice.
So that's what people say, but I don't know. I think that time.
We landing or Final Descent?
Final Descent. It's time for us to... No, landing. You're right, landing. There you go. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11 and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fastened seatbelts.
One of my favorite classes that Mike did, he did a whole seminar on the announcements you make during the flight. Mike, how do we do on these? I mean, do we do well on these?
Please, be honest, please.
For the first time, I've been impressed.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, no.
My father's never been impressed with me, so that's great.
Who's your daddy?
You know my daddy.
I met him at the funeral. 1 to 7, that's the scale. No other scale in the history of scales make more sense than 1 being the lowest, Roy Biggins, 7 being the best. It's a Brian Hackett. It's based on the characters from the beloved television show, accurately and affectionately known as Wings, from the 1990s. Mike, did you ever see the television show Wings?
I want to say a handful of episodes. Yeah.
So you never had like some sort of affection for the show or loyalty to it?
Not specifically. No. Okay. Yeah.
This is mid 90s.
Yeah. Right.
What were you watching in the mid 90s?
Ooh, let's see. I was like 14 at the time.
Yeah.
13 at the time.
MTV maybe?
Maybe.
90210.
Yeah, probably sneaking that in. My parents probably wouldn't have approved.
Models Inc.
I have no idea
Saved
what that means.
Saved by the Bell?
Sure, of course. I mean,
I think you're just saying yes to get me to shut up. You're like, yes.
Typically.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the best character on Saved by the Bell?
I mean, my heart says Screech, but
sure.
My head says not Screech.
The principal.
Says anyone else
but Screech? Right.
Principal Skinner.
You know what I like? I like that magician at the Max.
Oh, yeah.
I think his name was Max.
He was the owner of the Max.
I like that in the first season or two, he was there every week doing shitty magic tricks, and the show was called, or the place was called Max, and he was called Max, and in later seasons, he was just gone.
Yeah.
He retired.
He'd been bought out.
He got bought out, retired.
His name was Ed Alfonso.
Went to.
It's not on the computer. I know it in my head.
Went to Branson.
He went down with Yakov Smirnoff to do magic and comedy.
Yep. Sure did.
At the Bayside High, magic tricks do you.
Hey-yo.
That's good for people who remember Yakov Smirnoff. Mike, being a newcomer here, I want to turn to you first. How do you rate the pilot episode of Fargo?
1 through 7.
Decimals are in play?
No.
Absolutely not. It's frowned upon. You can do it, but we're going to frown.
You're going to be okay. Well,
you don't want to see us frown.
No. I'm going to go with a 2.
Ooh, okay.
You want to follow up that with any kind of reasoning or not?
No.
That's fair.
No. Just kind of what we said. It seems slow for no reason. I didn't feel any connection to the characters, and it was not entertaining in my opinion.
That's fine. Sometimes we like the pilots, sometimes we don't.
Of course.
This show is not here for us to pull down our pants and spread our cheeks and take massive dumps on these things.
Right.
We're just here to talk about them.
Sure.
And we like them or we don't. That's it. We have no loyalty. We can't be bought unless you send us a poster signed by yourself,
Sure.
Blake, Captain Philip, rest assured.
Thank you.
I turn to you. How do you rate Fargo?
I enjoyed the story. The story, I enjoyed it, but I had to hold on to everything in me just to keep up with it. When I watched it, I thought that whole nail salon scene was completely out of place and ridiculous for no reason. 4?
Yeah.
Wow.
4.
Right.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mimic that exactly when I say also a 4. I felt the tone of the show. They tried to replicate it. It wasn't perfect, but it was there from the movie. The tone was.
Sure.
One of the reviews said Edie Falco was not the right choice. I kind of disagree. I think Edie Falco,
she did fine.
She is a wildly capable actress.
Right. I would agree. Of all the characters, I would say she was the one that I felt like really hit
The dead guy did a great job, though.
He didn't move a muscle. I'll tell you what.
Point.
Edie Falco is great. The accents, like I said, were kind of cranked up to 11. We get it, okay? The story was okay. I just wish that Edie Falco wasn't Marge from the film. To continue the story, the current series of Fargo, it takes a look at different time periods, and it's loosely based off of actual events. So it's doing something that it's not trying to tie together all this fucking weirdness with the same people year after year. That's extraneous.
Sure.
I kind of like this. I cannot see it going forward. I give it a 4. You give it a 4. You might give it a 2. And with that, we close the book on Fargo. And my God, we will never speak of that show again.
Ever.
But join us next time, won't you please, when we watch the pilot episode of Hound Town. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. The misadventures of a small mutt named Rusty and his human family and canine friends. You can find the entire episode of Hound Town by subscribing to Couch Pilots and SoundCloud.
Have we already done this?
I don't think so.
I thought we did something with a dog.
We did the Lewis lectures. That was in the cartoon season.
Okay. All right. My
There's
bad.
probably more than one show about a dog.
And there's another one. There's like Police Dog. There's one we're going to do with Jeremy Piven and Adam Sandler.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a big one. Have you seen his special on Netflix?
We watched it today.
Have you seen that, Mike?
No, I've wanted to, but I
It's
haven't
not
checked it yet.
bad.
Really?
It's like the Sandler you want. Did you see the...
Not the Sandler of the last 10 movies?
He's not the Sandler we need right now, but the Sandler we deserve.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a... that song he does about his watch and keys and wallet. Or did you ever see that?
Yeah.
His phone, keys, and wallet
Yeah.
or something. That's pretty funny. I think he did a good job. Anyway, you can find our the entire episode in any of those places, or go to YouTube, Mike.
No.
Yeah, and you can also go to couchpilotspodcast.com.
Sure. That's the one-stop shop for everything you need Couch Pilots. You can listen to all past episodes. You can go to all of our social media through there. You can email us from there. The dial-in number is on there.
Blake, all that's good and well, but I'm not made out of money, okay? How much am I going to have to spend to go to this website?
$0.
Oh, sure, $0, but how many cents?
0 cents. Yeah, it's all free. This is for free.
Yeah, we did it for free. We did it for you, Dee Dee. We did it for you, Lori Garcia. Actually, I talked to Lori. I don't think she listens much anymore.
I'm sure she doesn't.
She does a cool thing. Actually, we should plug her thing. She does Lori Tarot Gemini or something like Lori Gemini Tarot. She does tarot readings and unboxings on YouTube.
Oh.
So if you're into I can only consider it the dark arts, check out Lori. She's got some pretty cool videos on there.
Yeah.
Anyway, like you were saying, 910 Pilots 1, it's 910-745-6871. Call us. You can leave a voicemail. We'll play it,
Sure.
and we'll discuss it right afterwards,
Sure.
and you'll get frequent flyer
We haven't had one in a
points.
while. It's free. It doesn't cost you to call in. We haven't had one in a while.
Doesn't cost. You can go to patreon.com, put in Couch Pilots in the search engine. It will pop up if you want to support the art that is or isn't Couch Pilots, and send us a few shekels as a one-time thing, or every month. We'd happily take it. We're not asking for anything necessarily, but you also get something in return.
Right. Yeah, definitely. We're not just taking from you.
No. This is the end of the show, Mike. You made it. What do you think about that?
Relieved.
What is it like to have never heard a podcast,
Right.
and your first experience is to be on
To be
one?
on one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unique, I'm going to guess. Probably not many people have experienced that, maybe.
I'd agree. I'd agree
Yeah,
with that.
I agree. So how was our flying?
We're alive. So
Yep. Yep.
So that's like a C, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Auto
take-
C.
I'll take a hard C.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All day. I'll take a hard C all
And some
day.
of the crashes, you can even crash just a little bit and
little
still
bit.
get a D. But
And,
we
and D's get degrees, right?
Yeah.
that's right. My dentist, he proudly presents on his wall his GPA was a 2.1.
Yeah.
And he fixed all my cavities.
Wow. Great.
Even dentists get D's.
Mike, we appreciate you being on the show.
Appreciate it.
It's been so long since we actually physically saw you
I know,
like in the
it's
same
been
room.
a long time, yeah.
Usually, the Skype conversations and the grading
Right.
online stuff. But
Yeah.
it's good to see you, buddy. It's good to see you.
Thanks, guys.
You made us the pilots we are today.
You make me proud.
Yeah, okay, sure. We'll take
yeah.
that.
Well, yeah.
Do you want to promote the Phoenix Online School while you're here?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Captain Philip, rest assured, as we wind down here, do you have a message of positivity that you'd like to give out to all of our frequent flyers?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most anybody that really knows me
Sure.
knows that positivity is like my middle name. It's Blake Positivity Clayton.
That's what I always call you.
Right. And so I want to share something at the end of every show.
Right.
Sometimes I get a little lackadaisical with it. But meet new friends. Meet old friends. Combine new friends with old friends.
Right.
You know?
Like Frankenstein friends.
Franken friends.
Yeah, Franken friends.
That's right.
Beans and Franks.
Portmanteau.
Franken friends. Yeah, so make a Frankenstein friend with one brain.
Take parts of dead human beings.
Yeah.
Sew them to your current friends.
And
And
then
make
soil,
some sort of Franken
soil
friend.
oats on them.
Soil oats.
Soil your oats.
Masturbate
Well, I'm
on
not saying
them.
they're your oats. I'm just saying soil some oats.
Yeah.
They could be your oats.
I suppose
Whatever you're into.
I guess that's positive. I don't know.
Positively weird.
And with that, this pilot may have been rough, but it is always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Love you.
Bye, guys. Bye, love you. I love you. I love you.
On
Goodbye.
behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.